Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sewing Monday. Today is going to be really exciting. So today we're going to be talking about bras, but before we get into all that, I want to introduce myself. My name is T. You might know me from my sewing blog, Sewing by T, my fabric shop, Simply by T, or maybe you stumbled on this video. I am a seamstress with over 20 years of experience, and it's hard for me to think about that. I by no means claim to be an expert on everything, but I am really happy that you're joining me. Today's video actually includes a disclaimer. Okay, so we're going to be talking about bras, and that means that I need to be able to say words like breast and nipple without people freaking out. So if those words bother you, this is not the video for you. Welcome, Christiane. Welcome, Joyce. I am so happy that you're here. Make sure that you like this video so that it pops up for more people to see it. And then if you know of some places where people are really going to enjoy this video, then go ahead and share into those groups now. I'll give you a couple minutes. Now, I did actually burn my hand today, and while you can't really see it, I've got these really sore spots. So I've got this little ice pack here. I don't want anybody to be confused by that. Welcome, Mara. Oh, yes, my project pile is fabulous. Just some little things I've been working on. Welcome, Cheryl. I am really excited about this project too. Value too. So I'm not wearing my glasses, which means I can't see my screen as well as I would like to be able to. But as I was saying, today we are talking about bras. And the information I'm going to give you is going to not only help you to buy bras in stores, pick the right size, it's also going to help you decide what bras you might want to make. So there's a lot to cover, and I'm hoping to be done in 30 minutes. But like I said, it's probably unrealistic. So I'm going to do and cover as much as I can, and then we are just going to have to stop and wait until next week, and I will just try to inform you as best I can. So to get started, the very first thing you need to know how to do in order to either purchase or make a bra is to measure. Measuring is so important. So I have got a model for me here today. Come on, Kaya. She's only 6. She doesn't wear bras, but she can help us out here. So she's going to climb up here for me. Come on. And I'm going to show you all where you need to measure. I'm going to tuck your hair in here because we have to be able to see the back of your shirt. Okay, so number 1, when you're measuring, you need to measure the underbust, so arms out. When you're measuring the underbust, make sure that you set your arms back down, all the way down, so that you're not measuring your rib cage when it's flared. You need to breathe out all of the way and figure out what the smallest measurement is that you can get here. Now, depending on the company you're buying from, they're either going to say to add some measurement to that based on whether it's even or odd or not. Personally, I prefer my bras to fit snug to my rib cage. How do you know if the underbust band is fitting properly? You should not be able to fit more than 2 fingers between your elastic and your bra without it becoming impossibly painful. Now, you should not wear your bras so tight that you can't breathe. So if they are that tight, obviously increase size. Next up, arms up. You have to measure at the nipple. Not like I said, she's 6. She doesn't wear bras. But this measurement will tell you your cup size, and it increases for every inch is a cup size. So 1 inch greater than your underbust is A, 2 is B, 3 is C, and so on. However, that doesn't work for everybody, and that does not work for me especially. So there is one more measurement you can take if you find that that traditional measurement does not work for you. And I call it the cross back measurement. I don't know what it's actually called. So let me go ahead and have her turn. The cross back is measured from here to here, so approximately at the side seam where your bra band will sit. So it would go right here, and I hope everybody can see that. Now, my underbust is 34. My cross back is 15. So ideally, you can go down. ideally, my cross back would be 17, which is about half, because you should be at your underbust approximately half in the front, half in the back. So that means that I have to account for extra breast tissue on the front part of my body because my back is actually thinner than the rest of me. I'm going to go ahead and scroll comments. I want to make sure that I'm seeing people. Susie's asking, what if your bust is almost the same as your underbust? So that can create two different scenarios. Scenario number one is that you really don't have much breast tissue. And in that case, you're either a double A and almost A. And almost A is usually about a ½ inch difference. A double A is almost 0. Or it could mean that you have a thin back and extra breast tissue. So while measuring your underbust and your full bust is a good place to start, it's not always the answer. So if traditionally you're able to buy bras based on that, then continue doing so and completely ignore what I just said. But for someone like myself who cannot just buy bras based on the underbust and full bust, that's going to be a really, really important measurement for you. So that's important both for buying bras and making bras. All right, let me use my intro here. Okay, so anatomy of a bra. Now this is really important because you need to know what you're talking about when you decide what you're going to make. So I actually have 3 ready-to-wear bras that we're going to talk about. And the first one is a traditional underwire bra. Okay, now this one actually doesn't fit me. It's probably about 5 cup sizes too small, but it's one of the ones that I have. So these are the parts that you need to know about. It's this front part, which is called the bridge. You have your cups, obviously your straps. This is the back, and you have your lower band. Now, why is that important? Bras are a little bit like bridges, okay? And so their job is to stop gravity. Now, lots of people do not wear underwired bras, and in general, if you have a smaller cup size, you're not going to have a problem with not wearing a bra. But if you have a larger cup, the job of the wire is to actually pull and keep your breast tissue pointed up. Otherwise, it can actually tilt down. And what you end up with is boobs that kind of point at the ground. That is currently my current condition at all times. But that has more to do with breastfeeding and me wearing really relaxed, more lounge style bras than a fully supported underwire bra. Now, some people will ask about foam cup bras, and this is my favorite foam cup bra that also does not fit right now. So what is the point of foam? Right? The foam is partially there to hide your nipples. It's just extra padding, hides your nipples. But what it also does is create shape. So in this style bra, your breast is forced to conform to this shape, and there's nothing to help round it. Foam cup bras help create rounded shape. And you know what I'm going to do is actually put on my glasses so I can make sure that I can read the comments as they come through in case it's something that I need to see. So let's see. All right, just people saying hi. So that's good. So foam is partially for hiding nipples, but the other part of it is for creating a rounded shape. Because what it does, and especially for women who aren't very perky anymore, it reshapes the breast tissue and kind of forces it to fit into that shape versus this, while it's firm, is more likely to create a cone shape because of the way it's designed, unless you have round-shaped breasts. So now that we're on that topic, we need to talk about, one more bra, and then we'll take a step back. This is my favorite sports bra. It's by SheFit. Has a front zipper and some really cool features that I'm going to talk about when we start talking about support. So I just wanted to show that to you really quick. So when you're thinking about making a bra, buying bras, whatever your situation is, you need to take 3 things into consideration. Number 1 is your breast size. If you have very small breasts, then you might not need very much support. However, you may have very small breasts that aren't perky anymore. And if they're very saggy, for lack of a better word, even though they're small, you might want more support. And you may have large breasts that are still very perky. I mean, that was me, about 20 years ago. So if that's the case, again, you might not need very much support. And the last thing is to decide, what are you doing in this bra? So the reality is that these underwire bras are actually very, very supportive, right? The reason why we don't wear this style bra to exercise is if you turn upside down, your breasts spill out the top. So I have purchased in the past underwire sports bras, and they were probably one of the best bras I have ever worn. And the reason is one thing. So if you have very large breasts, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And we are talking about chafing in between. And let me tell you, it does not feel good. So if you have very large breasts and you need support for exercise, do not shy away from underwired bras. Underwired bras provide great support, and if they're the proper size, they will not poke you anywhere, okay? So we've gotten that far. Talk about the anatomy. Okay, I want to talk a little bit more about this specific bra because it's going to tell us what we need to know to make the perfect lounge bra. Now, this is obviously not a lounge bra. This is a very heavy-duty sports bra. So I actually can do inversions in this. It will keep me all put together. And there's several factors that are really important. One is straps that do not stretch. If your straps stretch, they are not providing optimal support. Number 2, while the lower band is elastic, it's very, very firm elastic. So if this was very stretchy, things can shift around. It is just stretchy enough to allow you to breathe without allowing distortion. The final thing to make this the really ultimate sports bra is that it has a little bit of stretch horizontally, but almost no stretch vertically. So if you are a small cup size and you don't need a lot of support, this probably is way overkill. If you are a large cup size like myself and you really need a lot of support for high intensity activity, this is definitely a good choice in ready to wear. I think they run about $65 a piece. The straps are adjustable. You can wear them straight in the back or crossed over. It has a zipper front. They really put a lot of thought into these features. So how can we get from here to a ready-to-wear bra, or a sewn bra, of course, because that's what we're going for, right? We want to make sure that we can make our own bras. So first I'm going to talk about lounge bras, okay? Lounge bras are meant for lounging. Obviously, they're not meant to have a ton of support, but they can be really comfortable if you're someone like myself who doesn't like to not wear a bra altogether, but you don't want a full underwire. And I do have some really great examples here. Here we go. The ones that I have happen to be from Rad Patterns, but they have some features that allow me to go through the progression of good, better, best. So let's kind of just start there. So this is the Oraro, and you'll notice it just has a 1-inch elastic band on the bottom that's inside a casing. Now, this is not super supportive. It's just made out of cotton lycra, but it is very, very comfortable. I will say that all bras are built from the bottom up, and this 1-inch band does not provide a lot of support, but it's comfortable. So if you're looking to lounge, a 1-inch band may be plenty. The exact same bra, the Rad Patterns Oraro, but this time with 2-inch elastic on the bottom. Now this actually provides a lot more support. It's really, really vital if you're going to be using elastic that's raw, like just raw exposed elastic, that number one, it's soft. So it's not pinching you, because there are some very rough 2-inch elastics, and also that it is tight enough. If you do not make your elastic tight enough, it is going to slip and slide. That can cause rashes underneath from where it is literally rubbing on your skin because it cannot hold itself down. The other thing is that all bras are built from the bottom up, just like a bridge. So this is the base of your bridge. And if the base of your bridge is not strong enough to support the weight, it's going to tip. This is the reason why lots of women with large breasts end up with shoulder pain and neck pain right here at the center back. And it's because their bra has literally tipped forward because it cannot support what it's trying to support. Now, I actually have this happen a lot because I wear too many lounge bras and don't actually plan for my activity. So if you end up with a lot of pain here, number one, crossover straps may not be best for you because of how they tilt. And number two, you're gonna have to stabilize. So things we can do to stabilize is, number one, big elastic in the bottom. This is actually the Rad Patterns Lucky Lingerie. So you'll want to make sure that your straps are stable. There is a big difference between a fabric strap with no elastic in it that basically provides no support, and a bra strap which provides some support, that's pretty firm, versus a completely woven strap that does not budge. Okay, if your underbust elastic is not tight enough, it doesn't matter what straps you have, because it's either going to slide up or slide side to side, and you're going to be uncomfortable. So step one, make sure that your underbust is tight enough. Step two is to check your straps. So if you're doing, I kind of call this relaxing yoga, where you're not going to do a lot of inversions. It's not super high intensity. And yes, you can have high intensity yoga that involves a lot of inversions. Then you can probably work with either bra strap elastic or a fabric strap that has been reinforced with elastic. If you're going to be doing an activity like running, you need stable straps, because you're going to have enough motion with your breasts going up and down without adding the bounce back of your straps. That would be incredibly uncomfortable. So just make sure that you keep that in mind. Now, I do not know of a company that makes a underwire sports bra pattern. I don't feel confident that I could invent one. It is not that hard to add underwires as you would like in a swimsuit, but I feel like there's more math to that than just sewing it into an open cup. So what other things do we need to take into consideration when we're making a sports bra? I've actually got the Stitch Upon a Time Callista. I call them Suat. I don't know if that's how they would pronounce it. But so when I say Suat, that's what I'm referring to. This is actually one that my daughter wears. Now, she is a 28B cup. She's just starting to develop, so she doesn't have to deal with a lot of bounce. Her boobs aren't going to come up and hit her in the face if she stands upside down. She actually prefers her bras without any elastic anywhere. So this is the least supportive bra you can possibly make. And that's not a knock to the pattern. This is what she asked me to do. So it has no underbust elastic, no elastic in the straps, no elastic in the neckline. There is no elastic on this. And it's made out of cotton lycra. Very comfy for lounging, very bad for exercise. When you are exercising, you need moisture wicking. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for yeast. And I've had more than my fair share of yeast. That's one of those things that comes hand in hand with having large breasts. So you don't want yeast. When you're exercising, you want to make sure that you're wearing a moisture wicking bra. I remember as a teen, I used to wear these cute little cotton sports bras, and let me tell you, sure, I probably looked really cute, but they weren't wicking moisture, and so you end up sweaty and gross. And I know exercise is kind of sweaty and gross on its own, but we don't have to exacerbate that. So how can we go from this, which is the Suat Callista, to something that you can actually exercise in? So number one is you need elastic in your band, and you can do that with either exposed elastic or elastic inside of a band. This is the same 2-inch elastic. I just tucked it inside a cotton lycra band. So that's number one. You need elastic in your band. It needs to be tight enough to support you, not so tight that you can't breathe. And you have to keep in mind that you have to be able to get your shoulders through there. So it's a balancing act. And here's the thing. A lot of designers will say, for size medium, you use 26-inch length of 2-inch elastic. That isn't as set in stone as some people like to think. You know, I have a lot of kinds of elastic, and they aren't all equal. Some are really firm, some are soft. So you have to play with how tight can you actually make it. I recommend grabbing the length of elastic you have, pulling it tight on your body, maybe setting a pin in it and seeing if you can still fit your arms through. If you can't fit your arms through and there's no other closure on the bra, then you are already at a place where this pattern isn't going to work for you the way it is drafted. That doesn't mean it can't work, just that it won't work the way it is drafted. So what are some other things that we need to look at? If I actually wanted to make this work, the next step is to put elastic in every single seam. So you're going to put it in the neckline, it's going to go through the straps, and that's going to add extra support. The elastic itself is just an extra layer of support to keep you from moving and or falling out of your bra. Now, for sports bras, as much as I hate it from a personal standpoint, you must make sure that the neckline comes up high enough to encase all of your breast tissue. So that means that my bras have to come at least to here and be snug here to make sure that they are going to keep my breasts both down when I'm standing up and up when I'm standing down. Nobody wants a boob smacking them in the face. That's just facts for me, okay? So you don't want to be there. You don't want to be that guy. Let's see. Megan here is mentioning that she's never had a woven strap bra. So if you make your own bras, there are actually pattern designs, and I actually should have brought one, but I didn't, that mentions having a woven strap. And that would mean this whole section was actually made out of the fabric. In general, when you make bras, the fabric is really, really firm, okay? So you would make as much of this as you could of the actual bra fabric and not from strapping. And you would only leave a small part adjustable. The less elastic you have in your strap, the firmer the support is going to be, and the better it's going to be at not tipping. You don't want your bras to tip. Number one, that can cause your wires to dig in under your bust. So if you get wire marks under here, and it feels like they're digging in here but not at your armpit, it's because your bra is tipping forward. It either means your cup size is wrong or your band size is wrong. So those are definitely things to look at. But you can make a fully woven strap, especially since you're making it yourself. Those woven straps don't stretch out. So you could actually attach it to your ring at the exact size that you need, and that's it. You're done. Your bra would never have to be adjusted again. The reason why bra straps have adjustable sliders is two parts. One is because they're making the bras for anybody. Anybody can go to the store, and if you wear that size, you can put the bra on. Well, obviously, the length from my shoulder to where the bra strap goes is going to be different on me than someone else. So they make it adjustable so that you can go in and you can go, oh, the cups fit, the band fits, I just need to shorten the strap. Otherwise, they'd have to make like 52,000 size 34G bras because the straps would also be different. So it'd be like 34G strap, 21, blah, 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 whatever. So woven straps equal extra support. Bra elastic for strapping has some give. And how much give it has varies from brand to brand. The elastic on this is actually really soft. The elastic on this is pretty firm and it doesn't have a lot of give. So when you're making a bra, you have to take all of those things into consideration. You have to decide, your underbust elastic, 2 inches is probably better for someone with a larger breast. 1 inch is plenty. On my daughter's ready-to-wear bras, I think they use 1/2 inch for the smaller sizes. So a 1/2 inch could be plenty for you. If I tried to wear a bra with a 1/2 inch, everything would fall forward because there's not enough support to bring everything up. So where was I? Let me check for more comments. Let's see. So Becky's adding, what sort of elastic would I suggest? And then she mentioned swim elastic. Here's the thing. I've bought many different brands of swim elastic, and they are all different. No matter how hard I try, I cannot get just consistent one type. Unless you always buy from the same company. No cats. Sorry about that. Unless you always buy from the same company, your elastics are going to be a little bit different. Now, the swim elastic I have is kind of soft. If you're not doing high energy, high impact exercise, then yes, swim elastic could be absolutely fine, okay? But if, number one, you've taken into the 3 parts into consideration, your size, how perky you are versus how much sag you have, and what your exercise is, you may want firmer elastic. That could be a 1/2 inch elastic, a knit, or a woven elastic. When you add those elastic options in, you're going to have to account for that in the pattern. And there's no math that I can give you that says, oh, we'll just, use, 80%. Well, 80% on a really firm elastic might be too tight. And 80% on a really soft elastic might be too loose. So you're going to have to play with the materials you have. All right. So you're going to have to try, every time you try a new brand of elastic, you're going to have to, measure it out, try it, say, nope, that feels good. That doesn't feel good. It needs to be tighter, needs to be looser. In general, you can get close if you follow the designer's instructions, probably something wearable. At the very least, it'll be lounge worthy. And then from there, try something else. So since I mentioned fabrics, I want to talk about fabric because too many people use the wrong fabric for the wrong projects, and it's not your fault. The reality is it's a lot. Megan's mentioning that my kitty has been meowing this whole time. So he's 14 years old now, and I've had him since he was like 8-10 weeks old. So I'm so used to him meowing all day long. It's just who he is that I don't even hear him anymore. So sometimes I feel bad, but I don't because he does creepy things in the middle of the night and he sounds like a person. So let me not get distracted. I'm easily distracted talking about my boy. So as I was saying earlier, cotton lycra, very comfy, does not make good sports bras because it gets sweaty. And wet fabric stretches differently than dry fabric. And a lot of people don't know that. And that is why if you machine wash fabric, a knit fabric, and you go to dry it, you really should not hang it to dry like from a shower curtain because the weight can actually distort the fabric. You don't want fabrics that absorb water in your swimsuits and in your exercise bras. You need moisture wicking. Now, obviously you have options. My shop, we only carry Dry-Tex. Right now we have 3 colors. And probably as we get closer to spring, I'll probably bring in a couple more colors. But I don't think it's a great fabric for making a sports bra. At least not on its own. So I did make a sample one, and I think it's in the wash somewhere. I don't think I have it here. Now, the Dry-Tex feels really good. It's really comfy. But if you're making a sports bra, you don't want really comfy. You need support. So what you need is power mesh. But before we talk about power mesh, well, I kind of want to talk about power mesh and power net. Power mesh and PowerNet get confused a lot. And I'm not talking about only from a seamstress standpoint. What one company calls a power mesh, another company might call a PowerNet. Even when I'm contacting warehouses and saying, I'm looking for this fabric, and one company will send me a PowerNet, and I'm like, no, but I want power mesh. And they're like, well, that's what we call power mesh. So you have to be careful when you're picking out these fabrics. I do have a piece of PowerNet, and PowerNet is really firm. It has these little holes in it. Let's see if you can see them. You can't see them. So it has these tiny little holes. And usually you use PowerNet on your bra side panels, okay? That's where this works really well. It's very supportive. It stretches a little bit, but not too much. But it also pinches. And you don't want something like this against your skin pinching you. Now, you could use this to make a bra, but it's not what it's meant for. And it's really important that when we're making clothing, we use the fabric as close to what it's meant for so that we get it right. So I don't have any PowerNet, which is probably ridiculous. I've been trying to find a source for it for a long time, but a good PowerNet has at least 10% Lycra. It's usually a nylon Lycra blend. It's extra good if it is moisture wicking, and it's perfect to use with a fabric like our Dri-Tex that is soft and stretchy. See, like this has really soft, comfy stretch. Great for leggings. Now the vertical is very good when we're talking about making bras, because you don't, as you saw on my ready-to-wear bra, we don't want the vertical to stretch. We just want it to stretch horizontally, but this is too soft. So number one, lining helps, but if it's still too soft, power mesh can be used in between the layers. In general, you don't want power mesh to touch your skin. It can be really, really uncomfortable. Like I said, it can be kind of pinchy, and it's not always smooth. So Dri-Tex is super stretchy. It can make a great lounge bra on its own. I wouldn't use it for making a bra. However, there is something you can try, and that is to make it with the full stretch on your mane, turn it sideways, and use the less stretch going around the body. That's going to give you the extra support you need while still keeping it really comfy. So let's say you have a fabric, you really like it, has good stretch, like really soft stretch one way, but firmer stretch the other way. If you do the mane with the most stretch going one way and use the firmer side going the other way, so line it, you may have enough support there after you do things like make sure that your under bust elastic is good, make sure that you've done something to reinforce your straps. So I do have a Green Style Power Bra here, and I made it in cotton Lycra because the reality is that my life does not involve exercise right now. I'm just happy to like wake up in the morning and not die. So exercise isn't on my list of things to do. So this is a Green Style Power Bra. I made the U-back, and I actually didn't put elastic into any of the seams, and I very thoroughly regret it. Even though I have no intent of exercising in this thing, it needed the extra support, and I really should have considered that. So places that you must have. So what happens? Let me actually explain that to you. What happens when I wear this and it doesn't have enough elastic? So what happens is this puckers, this tips that way. And so my bra is actually on my body, and I end up with a gap right here. And the reason I end up with a gap is the fabric is twisting this way to try to support my breasts. So if you find that that's a problem that you have, and you've been making these lounge bras and it just, parts keep falling out, you need elastic. So elastic in every single seam. So I should have put elastic here. Elastic along the armpit. I had the same thing happen right here. I imagine I'm actually bigger than the 34G. I think that's the largest size it comes in for a 34 underbust. So my breast tissue actually pulls and distorts the sides. If you're getting distortion when you put your bra on and parts are pulling away from your body, that means either that you need more or stronger elastic or a bigger bra. Now, one other thing to consider when you're making your bra is that if it's close, you're close, but it's a little bit too relaxed, you can actually go down a size. I know some women with very large breasts will wear a sports bra they'll wear one bra that's the right size and one bra a size smaller to help provide a little extra support. You can probably skip that if you size down and taken all of the other tips that I've already mentioned. So using power mesh, making sure that there's elastic in every seam, possibly using a woven strap so that you don't have bounce in the straps, making sure that your underbust elastic is really good. Now, I did mention that you have to make sure your elastic can fit over your shoulders. As my rib cage comes back together post-baby, I'm probably not going to be able to wear these for very much longer. And the reason is that my underbust gets to about 30 inches and my shoulders, even at my thinnest, are over 41 inches around. And that's a lot to ask a piece of elastic to stretch, because if my underbust is 30, then the strap or the elastic that I would use on my underbust is about 24. And so now you're asking it to stretch, 17, 18 inches? That is a lot, and you may end up with popped seams. Your one plan of action that can really help, though, is any pattern with this U-back type shape, you can actually put a bra back on there. And if you put a bra back on there, you can unhook it, get it onto your body, and then hook it in the back. And that way you can get it on and you can get tighter elastic at your underbust than you would normally be able to get if you didn't have that bra back. So that's actually something they do here on the SheFit. Well, they do it rather interestingly. So they have Velcro, and it adjusts in the back. So you can put it on and then tighten your underbust to make sure that it's good and firm after you've gotten the front already put on. So that allows you that little bit of extra in case you have a very small underbust or you have very wide shoulders. Now, I said I was going to stop at 30 minutes. We are at 38 minutes, but I want to make sure that I answer questions. So Megan said, I'm using cotton lycra and swim knit for bras. I have a double brush poly one too, but that's like a super lounge bra. So technically, rayon spandex is stretchy enough to make into a bra. Obviously, it's not going to provide any support. So if you want support, swim knit can sometimes be enough. I've seen some that had mostly horizontal stretch. And as I said, if you need a lot of support, then you're going to want a little bit of horizontal stretch and not much vertical. So those could work. I've seen a variety of swim knits though, and some are really soft and some are more firm. So I don't want to say, yes, absolutely use swim knit. Certainly play with your fabrics. You're going to have to find the right combination for the amount of support that you want. Gabs is saying your black Under Armour wicker weight is a great fabric for bras. You're absolutely right, Gabs. Right now we are out, and my supplier doesn't know if he's going to get any more. It was like the perfect fabric. It was wicking, it had support, it had all the good features. Natasha's asking, does the pattern tell you how much elastic to use in your seams? So that is a tricky one. In general, they usually say 1-to-1 for elastic in the seams. Sometimes that is enough. Sometimes it doesn't work. and it really depends on how soft the elastic is. For example, clear elastic stretches a lot, and I find it's a little bit hard. I find that one-to-one is not tight enough. And sometimes you can get a feel for it with your hands. When I was making a lot of leotards for my daughter, I would often I wouldn't measure it. I would just kind of stretch it out and get a feel and be like, yep, that's enough, that's enough, that's enough. And the problem is with that I know how much is enough on the elastic that I have right now. When I run out of that one and I have to buy more, unless I buy the exact same kind from the exact same company, I may end up with something completely different. So you can start with one-to-one. If that is not tight enough, you can always pull your elastic some and start working your way down. Margie is just saying the seam elastic, is the seam elastic a one-to-one? And I just answered that. Susie, you need a version 2 continuation. Very good info. Thank you, Susie. You know, because I am not the kind of person that can just go into any store and buy a bra, I spend a lot of time like trying to figure out what do I need to know to make this work great. And these are just things that I've learned along the way. But I'm sure there's still lots more for me to learn. Steph says, is there a comfy bra pattern that does not give you uniboob? Oh, Steph, I wish I could say that there was. So there's a few things that help, but ultimately, depending on the size of your breasts, it just might not be a possibility to have a lounge bra that actually creates separation. I will say that a really well, properly sized underwire bra that really fits you well can be as comfortable as a lounge bra. One of the things to look for if you're looking for a more relaxed bra is they do sell bras with stretch lace. In general, they make those for women that have 2 different sized breasts that are just enough different that the stretch can make up for it, but not enough that you would need to put in an insert to kind of balance them out. But I've yet to find a comfy bra that does not give you uniboob. Susie's asking about Supplex. So Supplex is a brand name. They have different weights of fabric. And so therefore, I cannot blanketly say, yes, Supplex will work. I can say that in general, it should work. And as long as you have enough fabric to make 2, you should be okay to follow the pattern according to the designer, to everything they say, try it on, and then tweak from there. But that also depends on what you're planning on doing. You know, if you're doing kickboxing, you're going to need a different bra than if you're doing stationary bike riding, for example. Stationary bike riding, you're not hitting bumps. You just need to like be comfortable so that you can exercise. Whereas, you know, running or kickboxing, you're going to have a lot more movement. Sharon said, this video has been great. You'll definitely need a part 2. So I definitely have plans to give you guys more information and kind of walk us through. I can definitely talk more about wired bras. So I hope to be able to kind of share that. Oh, Carla's asking if I can carry hook and eye closures. She's saying she missed the first 30 minutes. So here's the thing about hook and eye closures and why I'm torn on them. There are several sizes of hook and eye closures. You have 2 hooks, you have 3, you have 4. They come in multiple sets of columns. And so I haven't decided whether it's what are the best sizes to carry, honestly, and how many customers are going to buy that. I suppose I could put together some more bra kits that kind of include those bits of information, and I will absolutely try to get together a tutorial on how to add a bra back closure into a bra so that you have that as an option. So Steph is mentioning that her problem is one side is bigger than the other. Now, no 2 women or no woman is perfectly symmetrical. usually bras can account for about a half cup difference between the two. When you get to make your own bras, you of course can make 2 different sizes. Or you can make one size across the board and insert to make the smaller size look bigger. Obviously, that's not practical if you're exercising. Who cares if you have one boob bigger than the other one when you're exercising? You just don't want them flying all over the place. So definitely if you deal with the sizing issue and you're a larger cup size, there are 2 designers that I recommend, and that is Rad Patterns and Green Style. They both include cup sizes in their patterns, and that's going to give you a better fit overall if you have a larger bust size. For women up to about a size D, maybe a double D, assuming that you have fairly firm tissue, pretty much any designer is going to work for you. You certainly will want to take into consideration all the things I've already said, and I'll repeat it again. You need your underbust elastic to be firm enough that it's doing its job to support you. You have to pick the right fabric combination. And depending on the exercise that you're doing, that could be anything. And then finally, take your straps into consideration. How much straps, how much elastic, how tight do you need it to be? If you need to be completely immobile, then you need woven straps. And that will keep you from bouncing. It will keep the soreness that some women get from exercising because their breasts are literally moving up and down for whatever length of time. And it's also really good if you're doing inversions because it's going to keep things from sliding as far up towards your neck as you're upside down. Let's see. Megan says hers are like eggs on a nail. If I wanted them up somewhat, what would I suggest? So Megan, you and I probably have very similar breasts. Mine I describe more as like an orange in a tube sock. I mean, it's just it's just what it is. Pregnancy stretches my skin out a lot, and I just don't have elasticity that some people have. So things that you need to take into consideration. If you're looking for a sports bra specifically, I do like Green Style. The Power Bra was really good. I haven't tried the Endurance, but after my experience with the Power Bra, I would say the Endurance is probably similar. If you're looking for more of a lounge, comfortable style bra, Rad Patterns is really good. I'm kind of sad. I believe she works for Adidas, Nike. I'm not sure. She works for one of those companies, and she actually drafts bras for them. And so I'm kind of sad that that's true because otherwise she could be like making all these bra patterns that would work perfectly for all of us and we'd all be happy. But that's not an option. But if you're looking for a good lounge bra that takes cup size into consideration, the Oraro is good, the Lucky, her swim patterns are very good. And because she is a larger woman with larger breasts, she really does take the time to make sure that those fit well. I know that because I've tested for her, and that was really important to me. So definitely Green Style Power Bra was good. Gab says, mine are not the same size, but I don't want to have the precise measurement of the smaller one because it might look funny and it's going to be too obvious. That is probably true. You know, from day to day, like I have one side that's bigger than the other, but that's from breastfeeding. Who knows what they'll look like when I'm done. But in general, if you're just going to make one size for both your left and your right, go with the larger size. Do not squeeze the bigger one into the smaller size. It will actually make it look really obvious that you have one side that's too big. Foam is really good at making up the difference, and you can honestly put foam into any bra. The Green Style Power Bra, she actually mentions adding foam before you put your band on. So if that's something you're interested in, that can add a little bit of coverage and kind of hide the difference. Natasha popped on and said that Stephanie from Rad Patterns works for Adidas. So there's that. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I had a really good time. And I mean, this bra information it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. So I encourage you to save this video to your videos for Facebook. Make sure that you like this video. Share it with other people you know who might be interested in making bras, or just people, even if they just watch the first 10, 15 minutes of how to get the right size. That's really important. I mean, you can't get anywhere without that information. If you don't know what size to buy, you're already done. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to get this up on YouTube also. So if you prefer to save your videos in YouTube, you can definitely check us out there. And let me make sure there's no more comments. Actually, there's a ton of comments. Let me put my glasses back on. Let's see. Susie is saying thank you. Cheryl said wonderful, thank you. Megan is mentioning foam. Bra making foam. Like these foam cup bras, you can also buy foam bra cups, much like you would see in swimwear. I know that in the Craftsy course about bras, I think it's the third one, she talks specifically on how to find the right size foam bra cup for inserting into like a swimsuit. So that's something to take into consideration. Joyce is saying thank you. Megan says thank you. Chris Jones says thank you. Gabs, good night. All right, thanks everybody.